Hi everybody, it's Tommy Jo from Bird Street Studio. I did add a few things to the signatures. I may add more. I do need to add more, but what I need to do is get the cover made. And what I realized is every time I add something, I'm making this cover bigger and bigger and bigger. The spine is getting bigger and bigger. So this original went like this, I think. Yeah, okay. Originally, let me move this out of the way. Originally, this was the piece I was going to use. I had it measured. Whoops. I had it measured down here where I would put the signatures in. If you can see there's two places here and then two on this side. And when I put the journal in here, figuring that this would be how wide the spine would be, not even close. So I figured that I need to add 2 inches in here. So I got out my handy dandy craft paper, and I'm thinking that I want to make it thick enough so that I can, let me move this out of the way. So, and I can glue this so that I can put a piece here and this piece here, and that should give me just about 2 inches. Yeah, it should give me just about 2 inches in the middle. And even though this is heavy, I would still put some linen or some Tyvek on there. So that's what I'm thinking. With that in mind, I wanted to hold these. I want these to have a little bit of extra space here. And this will give me my spine right here. So if I bring this up, this should be perfect. Okay, so then I'm looking at a much bigger spine. So I think that will work. Maybe I don't need to give it quite 2 inches in there, but either way, I think that's going to work. So I thought that's what we would do, is just work along on this. Now what my idea here is that the first thing I want to do is I want to glue this together. I want to glue these together. And I'm thinking that I could use my tacky glue and I think I have a silicone brushes here to spread it out a little. So the first thing I want to do is I want to tack these two together. So I'm just going to run a line of glue like this. Because I'm going to have to cut off the end of this anyways because it's too long. But I don't want to do that until I have it together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to glue these together. And they don't have to be perfect because we're going to fold it in and all of that. Okay. Okay. And then we'll glue a little bit in here. And then we'll glue a little here. Okay, so then we want to fold this in because I want it to be like 4 thicknesses, which should be close to this. So now I want to put a little bit more glue on. And then we're going to fold this one in. So it just overlaps there. I need this piece to go in. Okay, I think that'll do it. Then we want this. Now this side I had left open for a pocket, but I'm not sure that I really want to do a pocket. So I think I'm going to seal that up. I don't want a pocket on the outside of this, so I'm going to seal this up. Let me get my glue book here. And it doesn't matter. I'm going to sew around this anyways, but I just, to make it easier to work with, I'm just going to glue it closed like this. And I'm going to do the same to the other side. Do I have that? Yeah, that side's closed already. This one needs to be closed here. And this one where we cut it needs to be closed too. So how is everybody? I wonder all the time if people are crafting along, or if they're got the video on and they're crafting, doing something else. Let me know what you're working on if you're crafting while the video's on. Okay, so now I want to attach this to here and this, and I think maybe a little further up, so I think that'll work. I'm just going to make a little mark there so I remember I want to put this right to about that edge. Well, let's see. Could we get any straighter, Tommy? Let's try this again. So I'm going to hold this here. Oh, because this is not straight. How about that? If I make that straight here, we're not straight here. So if I make the bottom straight, okay, we got it. I think we got it. Okay, and then let's do 2 inches would be to there. I think we should do just shy of that. So let's do maybe 1.5 extra inches, or 1 3/4 maybe. Yeah. If that's the case, so we want that on a line so I can okay, I think we have it. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put Oh, you know what? Now would be a time I could cut that off, I think. Let's, I don't know if I want to put my cutter over that glue, so I'm going to grab some scissors. These are my older scissors. We'll just cut her off right there. Okay. This really feels pretty stiff. It's pretty weird. Okay, so now I use some tacky glue right here. Remember, I'm going to put some Tyvek or something heavier on this as well. Okay. And then we want to do the same to the other side right here. Oh, I put that on wrong. I guess it doesn't really make a difference, does it? Oh, Tommy, get with it. I have more tacky glue over there, but I want to use this up if I can. I can wipe that off, I think. Or let's just put it on the other way. Okay. I just figured it would be easier because I already had a crease right there, but I can recrease it. That's not a big deal. Okay. Okay, so we've got that on. The good thing about silicone brushes is they clean off really easy, just with a wet wipe. And actually, you could let the glue dry on there, and it would peel right off. I got these at Amazon, and I will try and remember to put a link. These are one of the best buys that I've ever made, best purchases. Okay. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but these envelopes by the USPS are all Tyvek. And this stuff is so strong. And it says right here, DuPont, I think you can see that, DuPont Tyvek. So I use these a lot to reinforce things. Imagine that. Okay, so I need a piece that's, this will work right here. Okay. So this is kind of the open side. So this is the side I'm going to put it on, and I'm just going to reinforce it right there. Actually, I could reinforce. Let's see if I need it on this side. Yeah, I don't think I need it on that side. I think I just need this side. So I'm just going to do the whole piece right there. Okay, and I think I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And I'm going to put it on the Tyvek. I could use bookbinder's glue, but I don't think I need that. By the time we get done sewing and all of that, I think we'll be fine. Okay, and I am going to just kind of center this right here. There we go. Okay, I think we got it. And let's just trim this right here. Now we're going to have to rethink the fabric if it's not big enough. So let's check the piece of fabric that we cut. I have fabric, but I kind of like that design. Okay. Okay, so the piece of fabric that we picked was this. Well, that I picked. Oh, I think it's gonna work. This is pretty thin fabric. So, you can't see much through it. You can see a little bit, but not much. I don't think it's gonna make a difference. But I need to glue it down a little bit. And I don't want it to get all over the place. So let me think of what glue I should be using here. Probably should use Fabri-Tac that let's try Okay, let's try a little Fabri-Tac here. But I will use a brush and make it so hopefully it will stick, but it won't go through the fabric. So let's get our silicone brushes out again. All I want it to do is get the fabric to stick. I don't need to totally glue it down. Okay. Because I don't want that glue to come through at all. I think that's perfect. So then I'm just going to turn it this way, and I'm going to work my way this way and just do a couple sections at a section at a time. Phew, this Fabri-Tac stinks. Actually, I hate to admit it, but I do like the smell of glue and stuff like that. You know, people go, oh, I gotta go outside because it smells so bad. I know it's bad for you, but I don't go outside because of the smell, because I like it. It's like standing at the gas pumps. I like that too. Is that weird? When I was in high school, we spent a lot of time at gas stations because all the guys in high school had souped up cars, and you know, we were always riding around in the cars and stuff, so we spent a lot of time at gas stations. Maybe that's where I fell in love with the smell. I don't know. Okay, so we got just this end, and because we have just the end, I'm going to go ahead and put this underneath because I don't want to get Fabri-Tac on my mat. It ate it up already. Okay. Oh, I think I'm in love. Let's see how it will fit. Oh, it's going to be perfect. Look at this. It will be perfect. Okay, so now we want to put I had this for the inside. Oh, this is quite a bit bigger here. think that'll work. What I can't decide though is, should I put, do I want to put a pocket all the way across in red while we are at it? If we do, I'm going to want to turn this pocket down and put it on like that, I think. I also have I don't know if this is long enough. I have this white piece. I never have wide lace, and for some reason I got this. It might have been from Brenda, aka the Simple Crafter, or somebody. And we could put this in here. I think I would like that. Okay, so what I need to do though is I need to cut this right now. Do you see how much fabric there is right here? I don't think I need that much. I think I need about half as much there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, and I'm going to trim everything up and get it pinned and sew it around. And then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back and I've sewn my covers together, but let me explain what happened. I sewed the front and the back. I put our lace on, and when I put my signatures in it, it seemed like on either end I had about that much hanging out. I had totally miscalculated the size. So what I ended up having to do is cut one of the sides off. So I had to take the stitching out, you know, to a certain point and then cut it. However, when you cut it, now you have, we put fabric glue on our bag, so it was permanently stuck to the fabric. So, and I'm not sure which end it was. It might have been this end. Anyways, so there was no way I could fray it. So I had one side that was frayed and one side that was not frayed. And I had already cut it, instead of just cutting both and figuring out what to do with it. So what I ended up doing is taking that piece that I cut, which had the back, the front, and a piece of the lace, and I tore it apart, and I laid it, I laid it back down over the flat edge, and then re-sewed it, which was fine. But that was the back of the journal was like that. So now I have this extra, I don't know if you can see it, it's this extra piece of fabric here. And okay, and it was like, okay, well that's fine, except what do I do with the other side to make it match? So I also had to sew the fabric on. So that's where we're at. So what I wanted was, if one end was going to look all, you know, like it had a piece on there, I wanted the other side to look the same. So I just matched those up. And then what happened is I started just moving forward without turning the camera on. So I want to show you where I'm at right now. So now our cover is right around 15 inches, which is what I needed, because my signatures are going to have about 1.5 centimeters in between. So I've made a template just out of a lined sheet of paper. And what I did was I knew that I had 4 signatures. This is before I put it in here. I've already taped it on here, but it comes right off. So I just folded a sheet of paper. I knew I had 4 signatures, and that I wanted them about 1.5 centimeters apart. If I do that, then my one signature here, when you lay it out, it will lay kind of real nice there. And your other signature, which would sew in right there, would have about the same amount of fabric on either side. And that's enough where if we want to grommet it or you know, put an eyelet in or something, we can, but it hangs over all of our lace pieces. And when we fold it up, it will fold like that, and it'll be really nice. So what I did was I took this piece of paper, and before I even folded the sides in, it was just a wide sheet of paper, and I just kind of picked a spot, and I made these dots a centimeter and a half apart and made 4 rows. Then I drew lines, okay? And then I had to find a middle. So I have a real light line right here that shows my middle. If you can see it, it's right here. And that's where I folded the paper. And when I folded the journal in half, I made sure that that middle was right on our fold. So our signatures will go just either side of that fold. I made sure that I marked the top, because if you are off even a tiny bit between this and your signatures, if you flip this around, it may not line up. So I marked the top, and then this will be the top in my signatures as well. So that's where I'm at. And I'm trying to think of how much further I want to go. If I want to go ahead and sew in one signature, I think I will. Well, I don't know if I want to decorate the cover or not first. I think I want to sew in the signatures first, because I'm going to have something here, and if I decide I want to cover that, I can. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I will take one signature, and we'll go ahead and poke our holes in there and in one, and maybe we'll sew in one signature. We'll see how that takes us in terms of time. So what I use is I just have a whole bunch of this cardstock all taped together. And that's how I'm going to poke my hole through there. I have got my threads, my clips, my awl, everything, my needles in there, and an abundance of templates for different journals that I made, and I always hold on to the templates. So right now we just need our awl, and I've taped this in so it shouldn't move. And we're going to have a little bit of problem seeing the holes because of this dark material, but we're going to go with it. So I just start right here, and I want to poke a fairly large hole. And I do the center. I don't know why I do this, but I do the center lines first, signatures. And I'm kind of pulling the journal up onto the awl, so I make sure that it's poked all the way through. So you can see it's poking through, but you can't barely see. You can see the holes on the white part or the cream part, but not too well on the black part. That's okay. We'll find them. My youngest granddaughter is turning 16 on the in 2 weeks, 2 weekends. No, well, next weekend. But they are taking her to Orlando to a resort for the weekend for her birthday. So they're doing a friends and family dinner tomorrow. And so we're going to that. Well, I'm going to that. It's mostly my daughter-in-law's family. And then there's only just my daughter and I from my son's side. So, Okay, let's see if we can line up our signatures. I need my book cradle. This book cradle I got from Amy at Crafty Cat USA. I think I want to put this one, I'm going to go from the back forward, so I'm going to put this one in the back. So what I'm doing now is I just want to go through and make sure my papers are where I want them to be, like centered if they're shorter than normal. A lot of people will take their ephemera out, but I usually just leave it in there. So we're kind of centering our pages. This one has to go up quite a bit. What's this one here? Oh, this one here that I glued to the, I glued it to there. Oh no. Oh, shoo. Okay. So that one needs to go up. That's good then. Let's see where we're at. Go back, go back. Okay, this needs to come up. My finger's spazzing out. I get this thing where my fingers get stuck like this. This one gets stuck right here. It's called old age. I don't know what that is, but we just put it back in place. Okay, I think these look good. Okay, so because they look good, I need to get my clips out because I want to hold them in place. Okay, so I am going to put a clip right here. And I want to make sure that I've got this pushed all the way into the center crease. And I think that the center one needs to go down just a little bit. Yep, there. Perfect. And you can clip these however you want. I normally clip it here, make sure I tuck it way down in, and clip this other end. And then I turn it back over, make sure it's way down in. And I clip this side like that. Okay, so now I know that that's all my pieces are stuffed way down into this edge right here, if you can see that. Then we use our book cradle, okay, and we need our template. And the template, we're going to pull right out of the cover, okay. And I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to hold it, and I need to mark it. So I got to stand up to do that. So I'm looking at my holes, and I can see right here that these holes are too close to the top and bottom of my thing. So I'm going to change the top and the bottom holes. So we're going to pull this out. And I'm going to show you when this is in here. See how they're so close to the edges? So the first thing we want to do is put this where we're going to this is our center right here. So I want to mark the center here. So we're at 8.5, so we want 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 is like right here. And this is my center holes right here. So I put that right on the center line. I'm going to mark the top of my journal right here and the bottom right here. So it's kind of a good thing that we can't see the holes in here that good, because we're going to change them. So I'm going to get rid of this hole, this hole, this hole. And we're going to just measure from this hole down. I think that if we go an 1.5 inches, maybe right there, that would be perfect. So let's go an 1.5 inches. Perfect. So then we want to get rid of these. So we're going to go an 1.5 inches down from here. It's so funny because when I was marking these holes, I was thinking that this was awful close to the edge, not thinking how tall I made the cover. So 1.5 inches be right here. Okay, so we know that these are good. I'm going to just poke the needle through here and then through here. Okay, so if I find out where the top is and the bottom, right here, and this is my top, I can see exactly where I want to poke my hole. In here, in here, in here. And then the new hole up here will be right around here. I'm going to see if this will work with this one. If not, I'll go ahead and poke the hole in the cover different. What I'm thinking is that as long as I have these going right, I should be able to poke through this because it's a soft cover. I hope. We'll see. So now we need a needle. And I'm going to grab this one. It's pretty big. Now, if you're using a total blunt edge needle, then you definitely need to poke the hole in the cover. And most people, when they sew their journals in, they measure their thread by 3 times the length of their pages. I do 3 times if I'm going to hang something down off of it, but I usually do about a little over 2.5. 1, 2, and a little bit more, because for every signature I saved that much thread. Okay, so 4 signatures, that's like a whole, that's quite a bit of thread. So let's measure that again. So we've got 1, 2, and a little more than half. And we have 4 signatures in this journal, so we want to do this 4 times. Okay, so I've got 4 of them. So I'm going to take 3 of them and put them over there. And thread my needle with 1. We might have just enough time to get through one of these. Okay. So I've got my holes. And I want to make sure that I have my cover the right side up. And I'm doing the the last signature. So I want my last set of holes. So I'm going to start in the middle and poke this through. And I want to find my last set of holes on here, which is right here. So you can't see it through this fabric very well. So I'm hoping that that's the one. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and 4. Okay, yes it is. Because you can't hardly see it. Okay. So I'm going to poke that through. And I'm going to pull it out, and I want to leave a tail. So what I normally do is I take a paper clip or something and I just hook the tail on there. Whoops. You can do it top, bottom, it doesn't matter. But I usually go from the bottom to the top, so let's just hook our tail just so it doesn't get pulled through by mistake. There. Okay. All right. Okay, so then I want to go to the next hole up. And I believe this is this one. And we want to find it in our journal. And go through there. Okay. And then remember, we poked a hole in here and it's not the same as what's in our cover. So we have to line up our journal. Make sure we're lined up to our hole first. Okay, like this. And this has to go down through there. And we want to pull this one through so our tail comes out, okay? Now, we want to go back through this hole without piercing our thread. Come back up through our hole here. So we're basically just kind of weaving it in and out, in and out. Okay. And I want to skip the center hole, and I want to come down to the bottom hole, and we want to find our bottom. It's right there. Oh, this pulled out. Let's see. Okay, go through there. And then we want to go back through, but we have to find out where this hole is right here. So I'm going to take my awl and push it through. Yeah, it looks like no matter what, we're going to have to poke those holes, so I will do that when I'm done with this signature. there. Now we want to go down through here again. And then we're going to come back up through the middle. I know this is really hard to see on camera. And it doesn't make it any easier that I've got material that you can barely see. You know, you can barely see the holes in that. But hopefully you'll get the idea that you just are weaving in and out. And you don't want to pierce the thread that's already going through, or you won't be able to tighten it. Okay. And we want to come out on the other side of our center string. Okay. Oh no. Where'd it go? Oh shoot. Oh shoot. There it is. Okay. Let's try that again. Go through our center hole on the other side. Perfect. Come on. There we go. Now we've got one on one side and one on the other side of the center string. And I'm pulling tight, and I want to make sure that my strings are tightened. This one seems loose to me. These seem pretty tight. So let's see what the problem is, what we have going on here. Okay, so now let me see. Now that looks good. So if you can tell, I'm going to try to hold this up. I've got one string on. Here's our center string. Here's one on one side and one on the other, coming up on the other. And then I'm just going to tie a double knot here. That's it. And then if you want to put a bow or something in, you can do that. I don't know how easy that'll be with my fingernails, but there you go. Then if you take all your strings off, or excuse me, all your clips off, hopefully we have it right side up and in the back. We do. Okay, so our first signature's in. So like I said, when I went to poke those through, it was difficult trying to find the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off, and I'm going to go ahead and poke those holes, and I will sew the other signatures in. And that will be a video. Lots of problems with size and that, but I think we have it handled. And then once we get it bound in, we can do our cover and flip through and see if there's anything else that we want to put in it, and I'll show you anything that I added. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you to my subscribers. Always, I appreciate you so much, past, present, and future. Please, if you haven't already subscribed and you're new here, please subscribe and join our community. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.